sun, and it's just officially flying season. Somebody forgot to tell the weather on the West Coast that it's officially flying season. We have a ton of aviation news to get to, so I'm excited. Let's get this camera set up, crank the heater, and get into it. Hey, it's Steve. Welcome back to Cleared Direct. Okay, so you've probably heard by now that the gold standard in aviation headsets, the Bose A20s, have been updated to the A30s. And I've heard a lot of perhaps premature criticism. Oh, it's just repackaged and increased price. Well, having flown these for 12 years, I have never had a problem with these. But, you know, how do you improve on a superior product? There's new chip design. There's new efficiencies in chips. So Bose is claiming better battery performance, better noise reduction, a better microphone. So I'm a big fan of all those things. I don't think I'm going to use 3 levels of noise reduction, 3 choices of noise reduction. There's also like the tap to reduce some noise reduction. I don't think I'll use that, but I'll keep an open mind. I'm not sponsored. I've got a pair on order. I'll bring them in and we'll do the full review, right? Next up, Acme Aero. They make shocks. So the Black Ops shocks for traditionally experimental aircraft. Well, they got an STC for a whole slew of the Piper lineup. So I'm super excited what this means for the backcountry flying community. I'm really fingers crossed that this makes it into the Cessna community. So any sort of progress in this realm, I think that's awesome. And I think they'll maybe find their way onto this thing at some point. Cubcrafters. All right, given the fact that I did buy their IPO a few months ago and I don't know how to check on the stock price. Anyway, I'm a big fan of progress for Cubcrafters, as well as our neighbors to the north in Washington. First step, they bought my friend's company, Mike. He owned Summit Aero. He made carbon fiber skis for backcountry airplanes, so Cubcrafters bought them, so that's great. Mike Patey, of course, as you know, pimped out the Red Bull Carbon Cub and landed on the helipad of the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, so that was sick. And then number 3 is Cubcrafters is offering a Rotax 916iS engine on a Carbon Cub, right? So this lightweight, 160 horsepower, turbocharged, FADEC controlled beast is going on a Carbon Cub, which is great. So speaking of the Rotax engine, it's gonna be like $50,000. Now, to be fair, I think my Titan IO 340 has gone up crazy price since I've, ordered it, years ago. So on that note, Vans Aircraft is offering discounts for Lycoming engines if you need to save a buck on an engine, but you got to be an RV builder or having built an RV in the past. If you don't fit that description, it's still good data to have, and I'll link all the resources in the description below, and if I talk about any past videos, I'll link them at the end of the video as well as in the description. Speaking of other bush plane manufacturers in Washington, Bushliner. Remember Kyle Faso from my pre-buy series? He's really a Cessna expert. Well, he and his team at Bushliner have started taking reservations for a home-built kit Cessna 185. It's the Bushliner Experimental 1850EX. It's already FAA approved. They're taking reservations now as well as deposits. So it's going to be a winner, especially in the state of Alaska, where it's got a 48-inch cargo door and you can fit a 55-gallon drum inside of that thing. Speaking of also the great state of Alaska, if you want to see Bushliner and talk to them, they'll be at the Great Alaska Aviation Gathering in Palmer on May 6th and 7th. Again, links in the description below. In avionics news, I'm really happy to announce that Garmin has really filled a gap in one of their accessory lines or mounts. What I'm talking about is the GAP 26, right? The pitot tube and AOA tube I'm going to install right here. They didn't offer a mount. This is the Gretz Aero mount. It works great. It's just fine. But now finally Garmin offers one. You can find it at Stein Air for $205, as well as it's vertically adjustable. So that's good. In more personal avionics news, my friend Terry told me about the Aithre Shield EX 2.0. This retails for $300. It is a solid state carbon monoxide detector that integrates well into the Garmin GEA 24, which then of course is fed to the G3X Touch. And so you can set up your iCast to have that give you audible warnings, or lights will go off, and you can set the parts per million, and it's good for 10 years. So I'm excited to get that installed in the Bush plane. Okay, in airline news, we'll bog here for just a second. The airlines, the demand in the airline industry is just crazy, despite all the warnings of a Q3 meltdown recession about to happen. The bad news is I've been busy flying a lot. The other bad news is that experience levels on the flight deck are decreasing a little bit. Fatigue calls are going up a little bit. And so the effect of this is, near misses are happening. Runway incursions are happening. So thanks to Blancolirio, Juan Brown for keeping us all up to date on all of that, as well as keeping us up to date on the snow levels in the Sierras. He's just awesome. And, if you don't follow him, I think you should, but don't take my word for it.
You may also not know this, but Blancolirio is a fantastic aviator that prides himself in his incredible aviation capabilities.
All right, in all seriousness, I was looking at the analytics on this channel, and I was really surprised to see that the Scrappy and the Rands versus Kit Fox video has been overtaken as the #1 video by Trent Palmer v. FAA. I figured you guys would want an update. Turns out Trent Palmer would like an update from the FAA. Currently, there is no update, right? So nothing is scheduled, nothing is happening, nada. So unfortunately, that's the current status of affairs there. In better news, I do have an update on the 40-hour fly-off deletion, right? You can do a task-based flight test program on a brand new experimental amateur built aircraft. So if you want the details, here's the video. But the update is that the FAA perhaps released the advisory circular 90-89 Charlie a little bit prematurely because they didn't update the governing document, FAA Order 8130.2 Juliet. But there's good news, okay? My source is Tom Charpentier from the EAA. He's the Director of Government Affairs with the FAA. He told me that the FAA will update that governing document, and in the interim, they're putting out a policy memo to all the FSDOs to allow this to happen. And so if you are before inspection, right, like me, contact your DAR. If you're after inspection, contact your FSDO, and they will amend your ops limits to adhere to the flight test program. So that is fantastic news. Thank you so much, Tom, for that scoop. And Tom is going to be talking about all of this stuff on a webinar in 2 days. So April 4th, 2023. I'll leave the link in the description. I don't think you even need to be an EAA member to log in. I will be there listening. I'll wrap it up probably in a future video, but I recommend, if you have the time, I encourage you to check that out if you're interested. The last note I'll say on this topic, Tom asked me if he could leverage my flight test experience to review the EAA's flight test manual as well as flight test cards. This is the previous version, so we've got a draft, and I'm going to be honored to review those, and I'll talk about those in future videos. So thanks, Tom, for that. Well, as I mentioned, the airlines are busy, and so have I been busy, but I've also been in Tahiti, making a dream come true. I've always wanted to film my sister surfing. She's a pro surfer. We went out to this awesome break. I got a new drone. I got some sick shots. So editing a video there, it's been keeping me away from this, as well as keeping me away from editing 2 more cool videos that I have on the way. A bunch of fighter pilot buddies and I flew out to the Alvord desert in our airplanes with our kiddos. So that was super fun. And then, of course, Mirko Pecorari, legendary aircraft livery designer, finished the paint scheme of my Ran. So that's coming out real soon. So stay tuned for that. But I do have a few days off. I'm going to knock that out, as well as I have an awesome helper to help hang this engine. So that's my goal for this week. We're going to hang the Titan IO 340 on my Rans S21. Colton, hope you had a great spring break, but you're going to get back to work and help me send it. Speaking of sending it, let's get this channel over 10,000 subscribers. At that point, I'm going to offer these awesome t-shirts that are Kevin Quinn approved. Hey, a big congratulations to Jonas and Sylvia welcoming their baby girl into this world. Jonas, welcome to being a girl daddy. Make smart aviation decisions. Okay. Thanks to Lift Aviation for being the sponsor of this episode. Supposedly they're making this awesome carbon fiber helmet for me for when I test fly my bush plane to keep my noggin safe. But they also offer all sorts of different products for different style of aviation. They offer airline shirts, they offer sunnies, t-shirts, hats, shoes, flying shoes specifically. So check them out at liftaviationusa.com and use the discount code ClearDirect15 for 15% off your order. Okay, thanks again for watching. It's Steve. Until next time, you're cleared direct.
1000%, but we getting better.